What if I told you that in most classrooms, the way we learn is, well, it's kind of broken? Today, we're going to talk about how to fix it. We're going to explore how we can shift our schools from places of just passive listening to places of active doing. Okay, let's start with a number that should really make you pause. 99.99%. According to our sources, that is the absolutely staggering percentage of classrooms in India that are missing genuine hands-on learning. Think about that. It's a massive gap between simply knowing a fact and truly deeply understanding it. So, how in the world do we bridge a gap that big? Well, the answer has actually been around for decades. It's a really powerful framework called Kolb's Experiential learning cycle. You can think of it like a proven recipe for turning a raw experience into knowledge that actually sticks with you. Now, this cycle is just this beautiful, elegant loop with 4 key stages. You start with a concrete experience. That's the doing part. Then you step back and you reflect on it. That's the watching part. From there, you start to conceptualize. You form ideas. That's the thinking. And finally, you experiment by testing out those ideas. That's the applying. This simple loop, that's our roadmap. So let's break this whole thing down into some real, actionable challenges for any teacher out there. First up, we've got challenge number 1. How do you create that initial spark, that raw, concrete experience? And the goal here is absolutely critical. This is not about just planning another fun activity. No, it's about creating an environment for uninstructed play, an environment that generates real, genuine sensory feedback. We're moving way beyond passive entertainment and into active engagement. And here's how you can actually do it. First, you design something called a play provocation, basically an environment or structure that just begs kids to interact with it, but you don't give them any instructions. Second, you just step back. You let the uninstructed action happen. And third, your job is to document that raw, unfiltered experience. And listen to what we're trying to capture here. It's not about right or wrong answers. It's this raw sensory stuff. My foot slipped. This hurts. I got tired. This right here, this is the concrete experience. That visceral feeling is the raw data that's going to fuel the entire learning cycle. But look, that raw experience, it's just the starting line. We can't just leave it there. So now we've got to move on to challenges 2 and 3. This is where we turn that initial spark into some genuine understanding. Okay, challenge 2, what we call reflective observation, it all kicks off with one simple but incredibly powerful question. What exactly happened? You're guiding the students to just stop and observe, to become aware of what they just did. This is the watching phase, where the experience starts to really register and begin its journey into long-term memory. Then you go a little deeper. You ask a more targeted question, something like, so how could you have climbed that thing without slipping? This pushes them to really analyze what they did and connect their actions to the outcome. All of a sudden, a simple activity becomes the super powerful learning moment. And this, right here, illustrates this brilliant shift in how we think about teaching. In a traditional classroom, right, the theory always comes first. But here, the experience comes first. And that experience creates a genuine need for the theory. And here's the crucial part. The student is now hungry for the explanation. This brings us to challenge 3, the thinking phase. Because students have actually faced a real problem, like a slippery ladder, they are now motivated to find the theory behind it. They'll ask you, they'll Google it, because they know exactly why they need this information. It's not abstract anymore. It's a tool they really want. But hey, just knowing the theory, that's not enough. We have to put it to the test. And that brings us to our 4th and final challenge in the cycle, closing the loop through active experimentation. The goal here is super simple and direct. You take that new conceptual knowledge, the proper climbing technique, the right shoes, whatever it is, and you apply it by trying the first challenge all over again. This is where theory gets turned right back into practice. In this stage, it is all about repetition. As the source material really emphasizes, for learning to actually make it into our long-term memory, a child has to live that experience again and again and again. It's not about getting it right one time, it's about embedding that skill through a ton of practice. And here's the beautiful part. This step isn't the end of the road. Applying that new knowledge creates a brand new, fresh, concrete experience. And that new experience, it kicks off the entire cycle all over again. But this time, you're starting from a higher, more informed place. It's this upward spiral of learning that just keeps getting better. So, once you've really mastered this loop, how do you take it to the next level? Well, you start looking beyond your own classroom walls, always trying to improve your practice. And this means benchmarking yourself against the best in the world. Look at the hands-on methods they're using in top education systems, from Finland and Singapore to Japan and Switzerland. By researching and applying what's working all over the globe, you keep your own practice sharp and super effective. Because in the end, that's what all of this is really for. It's not just about teaching physics or history facts. The ultimate goal here is to raise students who are physically fit, mentally fit, and truly skilled enough to go out and do the work themselves, to be capable, self-sufficient, and ready for whatever the world throws at them. So, I'll leave you with this question. I want you to look at your own learning environment, whether you're a teacher, a parent, or even a student, and ask yourself this: are my students just learning the lesson, or are they truly living it?